What if I told you that one quiet change on your dinner plate could help bring back something you thought aging had taken away forever? A few years ago, a 67-year-old grandfather sat in a doctor's office, staring at the floor, convinced his best days were behind him. He wasn't sick, he wasn't weak, but circulation down there just wasn't what it used to be. The doctor didn't reach for a prescription first. Instead, he asked a simple question: what are you eating every day? That question changed everything. If you're over 60 and you've noticed slower circulation, less firmness, or weaker response than you once had, this video is for you. Because today, I'm going to share 3 powerful everyday foods that support healthy blood flow naturally and help your body do what it was designed to do even after 60. And no, these aren't exotic supplements or expensive superfoods. These are foods you can find almost anywhere, and they work with your body, not against it. Let's begin. As men move past 60, many assume that declining firmness, slower response, or weaker performance is simply an unavoidable result of low testosterone or getting older. While hormones do play a role, this belief misses the real foundation of male performance at this stage of life: circulation. An erection is not created by desire alone or by hormones acting in isolation. It is a physical event that depends almost entirely on healthy blood flow. If blood cannot move freely through the arteries and into the tissues, the body simply cannot respond the way it once did, no matter how strong the desire or how motivated the mind may be. With age, blood vessels naturally change. The inner lining of the arteries, called the endothelium, becomes less flexible. Instead of widening easily when the body signals for increased blood flow, these vessels may respond sluggishly or incompletely. This stiffness reduces the amount of blood that can reach sensitive areas when it is needed most. The result is often slower arousal, reduced firmness, or erections that don't last as long. Importantly, this process often happens gradually, which is why many men don't notice a sudden change but rather a steady decline over the years. Nitric oxide is at the center of this process. It is a natural molecule produced by the body that signals blood vessels to relax and widen. In younger years, nitric oxide production is usually robust, allowing blood to flow quickly and efficiently. After 60, nitric oxide levels tend to drop, and the arteries become less responsive to it. This doesn't mean the system is broken. It means it needs support. When nitric oxide signaling improves, circulation improves, and performance often follows naturally. This is where food becomes far more powerful than most men realize. Certain foods support nitric oxide production, reduce inflammation, and protect the lining of blood vessels. They don't force the body into action like stimulant-based pills. Instead, they help restore the conditions the body needs to function properly. When arteries are healthier and more flexible, blood flow improves not just down there, but throughout the entire body. Many men notice warmer hands and feet, better endurance, and improved energy alongside better performance, all signs that circulation is improving overall. Another overlooked factor is inflammation. Low-grade, chronic inflammation becomes more common with age and silently damages blood vessels over time. This damage makes arteries narrower and less responsive, further restricting blood flow. Diets high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats worsen this process, while foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and natural nitrates help counter it. Supporting circulation is not about chasing instant results. It is about removing the obstacles that prevent blood from flowing freely in the first place. When circulation improves, confidence often returns as well. Many men experience anxiety around performance after a few disappointing experiences, which can further interfere with arousal. Better blood flow reduces this pressure because the body responds more reliably. This creates a positive cycle. Improved circulation leads to better response, which builds confidence, which further supports natural performance. Over time, this can significantly change how a man feels about his body and his capabilities after 60. It is also important to understand that circulation health affects longevity and quality of life beyond the bedroom. The same blood vessels that support erections supply the heart, brain, and muscles. Improving circulation through food choices is not a narrow fix for one issue. It is a whole-body investment. This is why doctors often say that erectile changes can be an early warning sign of broader cardiovascular issues. Addressing circulation early can have benefits that extend far beyond performance alone. A simple example makes this clear. Imagine a 65-year-old man who notices that his response has become inconsistent. He assumes it is purely hormonal and feels discouraged. Instead of immediately turning to medication, he begins focusing on foods that support blood flow, such as adding nitrate-rich vegetables, healthy fats, and anti-inflammatory options to his meals. After several weeks, he notices that his erections feel fuller and more reliable, but he also realizes something else. He has more energy during walks, his hands feel warmer, and he doesn't get tired as easily. Nothing dramatic changed overnight, but his body began responding again once circulation was supported. This small shift reinforces an important truth. When blood flow improves, performance often follows naturally. In the end, healthy circulation is not a side detail of male performance after 60, it is the foundation. Hormones, desire, and mindset all matter, but without strong blood flow, they cannot fully express themselves. By understanding this and supporting circulation through the right foods and habits, men give their bodies the tools they need to function with strength, confidence, and vitality well beyond 60. As men move beyond 60, one of the most important changes happening inside the body is a quiet decline in nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is not a hormone, not a drug, and not a supplement. It is a natural signaling molecule your body uses to tell blood vessels to relax and open. When nitric oxide levels are strong, arteries widen easily, blood flows smoothly, and tissues receive the oxygen and nutrients they need. When nitric oxide drops, blood vessels become tighter, slower to respond, and less efficient. This directly affects circulation everywhere, including down there, where healthy blood flow is essential for firmness and responsiveness. A key reason nitric oxide declines with age is wear and tear on the inner lining of the blood vessels, known as the endothelium. Over decades, factors like inflammation, oxidative stress, poor diet, and reduced physical activity can damage this lining. When the endothelium is not functioning well, it produces less nitric oxide, even if desire and arousal signals from the brain are strong. The body may want to respond, but the blood vessels simply don't open the way they used to. His is why many men notice that arousal feels slower or weaker, even though interest and attraction are still there. Nitric oxide-boosting foods work by supporting the body's own chemistry rather than overriding it. Foods such as beets, arugula, spinach, celery, and other dark leafy greens contain natural nitrates. Inside the body, these nitrates are converted step by step into nitric oxide. This process helps restore the signal that tells blood vessels to relax. When vessels relax, blood moves more freely and reaches areas that rely on rapid increases in flow. The result is often better warmth, improved sensitivity, and stronger physical response, achieved without stimulants or medications that force short-term effects. One of the most powerful aspects of nitric oxide-boosting foods is that they improve blood flow efficiency, rather than just increasing pressure. This distinction matters greatly after 60. Many men worry about blood pressure and heart strain, and rightly so. Nitric oxide does not push blood harder through narrow pipes, it widens the pipes themselves. This reduces resistance and makes circulation smoother and safer. Over time, this can ease the workload on the heart while simultaneously improving blood delivery throughout the body. Another important benefit is consistency. Medications and stimulants may create temporary changes, but they do not improve the underlying health of blood vessels. Nitric oxide-supporting foods, when eaten regularly, help retrain the vascular system to respond better. The endothelium becomes healthier, inflammation decreases, and the body becomes more efficient at producing and using nitric oxide on its own. This means improvements tend to feel more natural and reliable, rather than sudden peaks followed by crashes. These foods also work quietly in the background. Many men notice changes they did not expect, such as warmer hands and feet, better stamina during walks, improved recovery after activity, and clearer mental focus. These are all signs that circulation is improving system-wide. Because erections rely on some of the smallest blood vessels in the body, they are often one of the first areas where improved nitric oxide signaling becomes noticeable. It is important to understand that this process is gradual. Nitric oxide-boosting foods are not designed to deliver instant results overnight. Instead, they support a steady return of healthy blood vessel function. This gradual improvement often feels more sustainable and less stressful, which itself supports better performance. When men stop worrying about whether their body will respond, the nervous system relaxes, further enhancing blood flow. A simple example helps illustrate this. Consider a 68-year-old man who notices that his response has become unpredictable. Some days are better than others, and the inconsistency creates anxiety. Instead of immediately relying on medication, he begins adding a glass of beet juice or a serving of roasted beets a few times a week, along with spinach or arugula in his meals. After several weeks, he notices that his erections feel fuller and more responsive. But he also notices something unexpected. His morning walks feel easier and his legs don't fatigue as quickly. Nothing dramatic happened overnight, but his body began responding more smoothly once blood vessels had better support. The improvement felt natural, not forced, and that restored confidence made the change even more meaningful. In the end, nitric oxide-boosting foods play a crucial role in reopening blood flow naturally after 60 because they address the root of the problem, not just the symptom. By supporting the body's own ability to relax blood vessels and deliver blood efficiently, these foods help restore a process that aging slowly disrupts. When circulation improves at this fundamental level, stronger and more reliable response often follows, reminding men that their bodies are still capable of working well when given the right support. As men age, one of the most damaging but least discussed threats to circulation is chronic, low-grade inflammation. Unlike sudden inflammation from an injury, this type works quietly over years, slowly affecting blood vessels from the inside out. It doesn't cause obvious pain, so it often goes unnoticed, but its impact on circulation, especially after 60, is profound. Blood vessels are meant to be flexible, able to widen quickly when the body needs increased blood flow. Chronic inflammation interferes with this ability, causing arteries to stiffen, narrow, and respond more slowly to signals from the brain and nervous system. When this happens, circulation weakens everywhere, including areas that depend on rapid, strong blood flow. Inside every healthy blood vessel is a smooth inner lining called the endothelium. This lining plays a critical role in controlling blood flow, regulating pressure, and producing nitric oxide, the molecule that tells vessels to relax. Chronic inflammation damages this lining over time. Once damaged, the endothelium becomes less efficient at producing nitric oxide and more prone to plaque buildup. Even small changes in vessel diameter can significantly reduce blood flow because circulation depends on vessels opening fully when needed. For men over 60, this loss of flexibility often shows up as reduced firmness, slower response, or inconsistency, even when desire and mental readiness are present. Inflammation also increases oxidative stress in the body. This creates an environment where blood vessels become more fragile and less resilient. Instead of stretching easily, they resist expansion. The body may send the correct signals for increased blood flow, but inflamed vessels simply cannot respond properly. This is why addressing inflammation is not just about reducing discomfort or joint pain, it is about protecting the physical infrastructure that allows blood to move freely. Anti-inflammatory foods play a powerful role in slowing and even partially reversing this process. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout are especially valuable because they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s help calm inflammatory signals throughout the body and protect the inner walls of blood vessels. They reduce the production of inflammatory compounds that damage arteries and improve the flexibility of vessel walls. Over time, this allows blood vessels to respond more efficiently when increased circulation is needed. What makes anti-inflammatory foods particularly important after 60 is that they work preventively as well as restoratively. Instead of forcing a temporary increase in blood flow, they help stabilize the environment inside the arteries. This reduces further damage while supporting gradual healing. The result is not an artificial boost, but a return toward normal vessel function. Men who consistently eat anti-inflammatory foods often notice improvements that feel subtle at first but become more reliable with time, such as steadier response, improved endurance, and better overall circulation. Another benefit of reducing inflammation is improved blood consistency. Chronic inflammation can make blood more prone to clotting and sluggish movement, further restricting flow through already stiffened vessels. Omega-3 rich foods help improve blood fluidity, allowing it to move more smoothly through the circulatory system. This smoother flow supports better delivery of oxygen and nutrients, which is essential for maintaining healthy tissue response as men age. Anti-inflammatory eating also supports heart and brain health, which are closely tied to circulation quality. The same arteries that supply blood down there also supply the heart and brain. Improvements in vascular health often show up first in areas with the smallest blood vessels, making erectile response an early indicator of broader improvements. When circulation improves in these sensitive areas, it is often a sign that overall vascular health is improving as well. A short example illustrates this clearly. Imagine a 66-year-old man who notices that his erections have become weaker and less predictable. He also has mild joint stiffness and occasional fatigue, but nothing severe enough to feel alarming. Instead of focusing only on performance, he begins eating fatty fish twice a week and reduces highly processed foods that contribute to inflammation. After a couple of months, he notices that his joints feel less stiff in the mornings, but more importantly, his erections feel more consistent and fuller. The change wasn't dramatic overnight, but it felt dependable. His body responded better because the underlying inflammation that was restricting his blood vessels had begun to ease. Ultimately, anti-inflammatory foods protect aging blood vessels by preserving what time slowly tries to take away: flexibility, responsiveness, and resilience. After 60, circulation problems are often not about a lack of desire or effort, but about blood vessels struggling under years of silent inflammation. By calming that inflammation through the right foods, men give their arteries the chance to function as they were meant to. When blood vessels are protected and supported, reliable circulation becomes possible again, and with it comes renewed confidence, comfort, and vitality. As men grow older, it's very tempting to look for quick fixes when circulation and performance start to change. Pills, POWD. ERs and instant boosters promise fast results, often within minutes or hours. While these options may create short-term effects, they rarely address the underlying issue that develops after 60, the gradual weakening of blood vessel health. Circulation does not decline overnight, and it cannot be sustainably restored overnight either. This is why consistency with food almost always beats quick fixes and supplements in the long run. The body is built to adapt slowly. Blood vessels respond to what they are exposed to day after day, not to what happens once in a while. When a man regularly eats foods that support circulation, such as nitrate-rich vegetables, healthy fats, and anti-inflammatory foods, his blood vessels receive repeated signals to stay flexible, relaxed, and responsive. Over time, this creates structural and functional improvements. The inner lining of the arteries becomes healthier, nitric oxide signaling improves, and inflammation gradually decreases. These changes accumulate, leading to steadier, more reliable blood flow. Quick fixes work differently. Many supplements and pills rely on stimulatory effects that temporarily increase blood flow or sensitivity. They often push the system rather than support it. This can feel effective in the moment, but once the effect wears off, the body returns to its baseline state. In some cases, repeated reliance on quick fixes can even increase anxiety because performance becomes tied to whether or not something was taken. Instead of building confidence, this creates dependence and unpredictability. Consistent food choices, on the other hand, work quietly in the background. They don't create dramatic spikes, but they steadily improve the environment inside the body. When arteries are nourished regularly, they become better at responding naturally. Many men report that after several weeks of consistent eating, CI, ejaculation feels smoother and more dependable, warmth improves, sensitivity increases, and response feels less forced. These changes may not feel dramatic day to day, but when a man looks back after a month or two, the difference is clear. Another key reason consistency matters is inflammation control. Chronic inflammation builds up over years, damaging blood vessels slowly. No single supplement can undo that damage in one dose. However, regularly eating anti-inflammatory foods helps calm this process over time. Each meal becomes a small vote in favor of healthier circulation. When these votes add up, blood vessels regain some of their lost flexibility, which is essential for good blood flow after 60. Consistency also supports the nervous system. When the body begins to respond more reliably, the mind relaxes. performance anxiety decreases because results feel less unpredictable. This mental calm further improves circulation, creating a positive feedback loop. Quick fixes often do the opposite by increasing pressure and expectations. If a pill is taken, the man may feel that it has to work, which can increase stress and interfere with natural response. It's also important to understand that food-based improvements tend to spread throughout the body. Men who eat consistently for circulation often notice benefits beyond performance. Walking becomes easier, energy levels improve, and recovery after physical activity feels faster. These are signs that blood flow is improving system-wide. Because erections rely on some of the smallest blood vessels in the body, improvements there often signal broader cardiovascular support. This whole body benefit is something quick fixes rarely provide. A short example illustrates this difference clearly. Imagine a 67-year-old man who notices that his response has become unreliable. He tries a supplement that promises fast results and sometimes notices an effect, but other times it doesn't work as expected. This inconsistency makes him frustrated and anxious. Eventually, he shifts his focus to daily habits instead. He starts eating leafy greens most days, adds fatty fish twice a week, and includes nitrate-rich vegetables regularly. After about 4 weeks, he realizes that his response feels more natural and predictable. He also notices warmer hands and better stamina during his daily walks. Nothing dramatic happened overnight, but the improvement feels real and dependable. He no longer feels like he needs to force his body to respond. Ultimately, consistency with food wins because it works with the body's design. After 60, the goal is not to overpower aging with shortcuts, but to support the systems that still want to function well. Daily and weekly food choices rebuild circulation gradually but sustainably, allowing improvements to last rather than fade. When men commit to consistency instead of chasing quick fixes, they often regain not just better circulation but a sense of trust in their bodies again. And that trust is one of the most powerful factors in lasting vitality. As men move past 60, changes in circulation affect far more than just physical response. Blood flow is deeply connected to how the entire body feels and functions each day. When circulation weakens, men often notice lower energy, colder hands and feet, slower recovery, mental fog, and a quiet drop in confidence that's hard to put into words. These changes can slowly reshape how a man sees himself. He may still feel capable and motivated inside, but his body no longer responds with the same reliability. Over time, this gap between desire and response can affect mood, self-esteem, and overall vitality. When circulation improves through food-based support, the benefits extend well beyond performance. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reach muscles, organs, and the brain. This often translates into higher daily energy levels, improved endurance, and a greater sense of physical presence. Men frequently report feeling more awake in their bodies again, not rushed, not strained, but steadier and stronger. This physical steadiness plays a powerful role in restoring confidence, because the body begins to feel like an ally again rather than something unpredictable. Mood is also closely tied to circulation. The brain is one of the most circulation-sensitive organs in the body. When blood flow improves, mental clarity often improves as well. Men may notice fewer dips in motivation, less irritability, and a more positive baseline mood. This isn't about forced happiness, it's about the nervous system receiving the resources it needs to function smoothly. When the brain is well supplied with oxygen and nutrients, stress feels more manageable and emotional balance becomes easier to maintain. Confidence grows naturally when performance becomes more reliable. One of the most stressful aspects of declining circulation is unpredictability. Not knowing whether the body will respond creates anxiety, and anxiety itself restricts blood flow. This creates a vicious cycle where worry leads to poorer response, which leads to more worry. Food-based circulation support helps break this cycle by improving the physical foundation first. As blood flow becomes steadier, response feels less forced and more natural. The mind relaxes because it no longer feels the need to constantly monitor or anticipate failure. This reliability has a ripple effect. Men often feel more comfortable being spontaneous again, more engaged with their partners, and more present in intimate moments. That presence reinforces self-worth and emotional connection, which further supports healthy nervous system function and circulation. In this way, improved blood flow creates a positive feedback loop. Better circulation leads to better response, which builds confidence, which further improves circulation. Overall vitality also improves because circulation affects nearly every system in the body. Muscles recover faster, joints feel less stiff, and daily movement becomes easier. Many men notice that activities they once avoided, longer walks, light exercise, social outings, feel more accessible again. This increased activity further supports circulation, creating another reinforcing cycle. The body begins to feel capable rather than limited, which is a profound shift after 60. Importantly, food-based improvements feel empowering rather than dependent. Instead of relying on something external for short-term results, men feel they are actively supporting their health through daily choices. This sense of control strengthens confidence in a different way. Not just physical confidence, but confidence in one's ability to care for and improve their own well-being. That psychological empowerment is often underestimated, yet it plays a major role in long-term vitality. A short example brings this to life. Imagine a 69-year-old man who has gradually withdrawn from activities he once enjoyed. His energy feels inconsistent.